Hello YouTube and welcome to Guns and Gear. You know, the other day I was watching a video from OilTheGun and it was on his top 10 favorite reference for 2010, his top handguns. And man, I thought it was a great idea, and I left him a comment and told him so, and also asked him if he'd mind if I made one. And he said he was kind of hoping that, you know, several people make videos like that and kind of showcase, you know, their favorite weapons. So then Mr. 45 Bullet comes along and he makes one on his top 10 favorite reference revolvers for 2010. I went, there you go, that's a good idea. And I'm going to follow suit with Mr. 45 Bullet and make a video on my revolvers, and then I'm going to make one on compact and subcompacts, and make a last video on service size or full size pistols. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. The first gun here is a GP100, and I've showed this in a video before. And this is a 6-inch 357 Magnum, and when the Rugers first came out with this gun, that's when the very first model that I ever laid eyes on was this particular gun right here, and I bought it. You know, this came along after their Ruger Security 6 and Service 6 revolvers, and those were classics. They were, you know, just excellent revolvers. And the company has continued that tradition with the GP100. It is just tank tough, super durable revolver. Now next here we have a Smith&Wesson, and this Smith&Wesson is the 627. And this is also 357 Magnum, and it has a 5-inch barrel. But it's wrapped around a end frame gun, okay? Now 357 Magnums usually are the smaller frames like the L or the K or the J. But they needed the end frame for this particular gun because the cylinder holds 8 rounds, okay? Holds 8 rounds of 357 Magnum. And also I have additionally added on tritium night sights, and these are adjustable. I got them from Meprolite, and this is I have just been nothing but pleased with this gun. It is a solid shooter. It's very accurate gun. Now, you know, they also came out with this little clip, this little full moon clip that holds the 357 Magnums to aid in your reloading. But I will say, because of the narrow design of the 357 Magnum, it's actually 35 caliber, and those narrow charging holes, it's not as quick as some to reload, but with a little practice you can get pretty good at it. Now the next gun up here is a Model 57, and this is a 57-1, also Smith&Wesson, but this is a 41 Magnum, and this is a very early model with a pinned barrel and so forth. This is a 6-shooter, okay? And 41 Magnum, I gotta tell you, is one of my pet calibers. I really like the 41 Magnum. Never quite understood how come more people don't like the 41 Magnum or like other calibers more. It's very capable, and I'm glad they're still making guns in that caliber. Next up to bat is a Model 629, and the 29 is a 44 Magnum. And like Mr. 45 Bullet suggested in his video, the 6 basically lets you know that it is stainless steel materials used. Now this gun, I'll quickly show you. You know, all these guns I checked before I started the video, so just in case I forget one, they've all been safety checked. Now when I originally got this gun, and this is a 629-1, this is again an early model, older gun. When I first got this, it had the 8 3/8 inch barrel on there, and I used it primarily for hunting. But kind of wanted to do more with it. You know, 44 Magnum is very versatile, and you can use 44 Special. And so I had a gunsmith friend of mine who had that 5-inch barrel right there. He put it on there for me, and quite honestly, I've never looked back. I have used it for hunting, but primarily it's been a camp gun. I don't know, working on tree stands and bumming around the woods type of gun. It's just been an excellent gun. Now next is a single action, and this is made by Ruger, and this is the Vaquero. You know, when cowboy action shooting first started getting popular, I was thinking about getting involved with it, and quite honestly, I wanted a Colt. You know, I had to have a Colt, but Colts are expensive, and finding one of the early model Colts is quite expensive. And you know, there's a lot of replica manufacturers out there, but I didn't really know too much about them. And then Ruger comes along and introduces the Vaquero. Now this is a little bit different than the new Vaquero in that it has a little bit bigger frame and grip frame to it, which is fine with me. I prefer that anyway. And this is M45 Colt, and I tell you what, this has just been a great shooting gun. I've enjoyed this gun a lot, and I've shot it quite a bit. And next up to bat is a more modern version of the single action. You know, back in the 50s, Ruger came out with the Blackhawk, and that's what this gun is basically designed after. This is their 50th anniversary Blackhawk. And quickly you would look at the rear sight and tell that this is designed to look like the old flat top design Rugers. And folks that follow Rugers will know what I'm talking about. This is a 357 Magnum, and I originally bought this gun to kind of set it away, but I've never really had a gun that I just kind of set away. So I ended up taking it out and shooting it. It's in 357 Magnum. It's a great cartridge, and this is a really good shooting gun. I'm really glad I started shooting it. I know I've lost some collector's value, but I don't really buy my guns for collecting. I like to shoot them too much. So the next gun up here is a Jerry Micklet designed gun. I shouldn't say designed gun, but it's a Jerry Micklet edition gun. This is a 625 Smith&Wesson. This is also a performance center gun. And basically what makes this different than a lot of older revolvers is that it was specifically designed to shoot 45 ACP round. Okay? And in order to shoot that rimless round in a revolver, they have these little clips that you put the 45s in. And it allows you for quick reloads, and it's just a great shooting gun. Man, it's got a 4-inch barrel, and the trigger job that was done by the Performance Center is absolutely awesome. Now you might be wondering, now that I have a Jerry Micklet edition gun, can I shoot like Jerry Micklet? You know, let me go ahead and answer that. Heck no, not even close. I don't think anybody on the planet really shoots a revolver like Jerry Micklet. He's definitely the best, the absolute best. Next up is another Ruger, and this is the Ruger SP101. Now, this is another gun that I've had for a while. I bought it when the SP101s first came out, in 357 Magnum, that is. They were first introduced in 38 Special, and when they introduced the 357 Magnum version, I got me myself one, and this has a 3-inch barrel, and this has, 5-shot. For a snub nose or belly gun type of gun, it's big, it's kind of big and hefty, even though it doesn't look like it. But I tell you what, when you're shooting those 357 Magnum rounds, you appreciate that extra weight and heft. And I bought this gun for defense. I know folks may think that that's a silly idea. You only got 5 rounds, but 5 357 Magnum rounds is a pretty potent firearm. And here's another little snubby right here. This is the Smith&Wesson Airweight 638. Okay, and Airweight in this case means that this is an aluminum frame. Now I know they've got some pretty high-tech materials that they use now, like titanium and other things, but and those are even lighter than this. But this is a pretty lightweight gun. This is a gun that you could easily carry in a pocket holster, like over here, in your front pocket, and really not even know anything about it. Now, one of the differences from this gun and other guns, other little snub nose that you might see, is it has a shroud that goes around the hammer. Not over the hammer, but around the hammer, which allows you to actually cock the hammer if you wanted to. Go ahead and show you. It's empty. But you can cock this hammer back. So it is a double action gun. And because of this little shroud that goes over there, it's not as apt if you just had it hanging loosely in your pocket to get caught up in something, or in your jacket to get caught up in the material. But this is rated for 38 plus P, and this is a good shooting little gun. I think quickly I'll tell you a little something about, or my opinion on snub noses. They're very popular guns today, and they're still one of the most sought after guns for folks with concealed weapons permits. And that's fine, that's what they were designed for. But I really don't think that should be someone's first revolver. They're lightweight and they're snappy, and trying to shoot that double action trigger pull, you really need a lot of training. You really need a lot of experience shooting the gun before you can shoot this gun well. Okay, or this gun, or that one as a matter of fact. So you really had to dedicate yourself to get good with a snub nose. I've still got a long way to go, but I have put my time in. I have gotten some professional instruction, and I'm on my way. Okay, so if you're going to pick those guns, you need to get that instruction. You need to get to the range and develop those skills that you need to shoot those guns well. Now I might as well talk about the other snub nose that I have. This one's a little bit different also. This is Smith&Wesson's Night Guard series. Okay, this is the Model 396. And this is an L frame, and it has a tritium front sight, and it originally came with a fixed rear. I just couldn't get the ammunition that I was using and like to use to shoot to the point of aim. So I ended up putting adjustable sights on it, so I could square that gun up away. Now this is in 44 Special. Okay, this is a 5-shooter. Like I said, it is an L frame. Okay, but it still houses 44 Special, 5 of them, and that's a pretty potent little gun. And what really helps with that is these grips that Smith&Wesson includes with their Night Guard series. They're Packmeyers, and they are substantial grips. You can really get a good purchase on your weapon with these Packmeyer grips. So that with the tritium front sight makes this an excellent little defense gun. And quite honestly, this is now my new favorite bumming around the woods, camping, whatever handgun. Now you just can't do a video on revolvers without at least acknowledging some of the designs that have really stood the test of time and really have represented law and order for many, many, many decades. And that's what this gun does right here. This is a Model 10 Smith&Wesson, okay? And there's nothing special about this. It's a fixed sight, 4-inch barrel, double action revolver, and 38 Special, okay? Nothing glamorous about this at all. But this gun is one of the few models that basically were the quintessential revolver for law enforcement. And it was a gun very much like this one right here that I actually learned how to shoot a revolver. So yeah, I have an affinity towards some of the older designs and had to include it in my favorites. Now last up, it's kind of a funny looking little gun. This is a North American Arms little 22, okay? And you've seen several videos on these guns, but usually they're about that size, okay? They may look like that when you see them, the videos. This one has a 4-inch barrel, and it has great big old sights on it. This is their Black Widow edition, Target Master or something of that nature. I'm not real sure. And somebody may ask themselves, well, what the heck is that good for? If it's not little, what's the point? Well, my thoughts were, anyway, I wanted a little handgun, a little lightweight handgun that I could put in my pack when I do some backpacking. And I'm not a through hiker that does the Appalachian Trail and stuff of that nature, but there's several locations that, you know, it takes me 1 or 2 days to get to, and I kind of set up a camp there, and it'll stay there for a few days and enjoy the mountains. And that's a perfect little gun to take along with you if you're in an area where you could do some shooting, a little bit of plinking. And that's what I bought that gun for. And if I'm going to have a gun that has snake shot in it, it's going to be that gun right there, because that would never be considered a primary defensive gun of any type. It shoots pretty good. I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't real accurate, but you can hit a pine cone at 10 yards with it fairly simply. Concentrate a little bit, you can hit a pine cone at 15 yards with it. But I had the 22 Magnum and the 22 long rifle cylinder, and you know, I've really kind of enjoyed that gun. Well, these are my top 10 revolver picks plus 2. And thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please feel free to do so. And as always, shoot straight on the range and in life. Thanks.